Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ain't Nobody Squeaky Clean. And as always, I appreciate you coming to the podcast. I hope you're getting out of this what you need, and I hope you keep coming back. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're listening to this, I'm on Spotify, I'm on YouTube, I'm on iHeartRadio, I'm on Amazon Music. Subscribe and forward it to your friends and family. The more subscribers we get, who knows what could happen. Your boy might end up on television one day. And if I do, I'll owe it all to you guys because you were down here when we were on the grassroots movement, just getting this thing started. So today, I just wanted to get on here and talk about a few things that were on my mind. I didn't script this podcast like I've done some of my other ones. I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys. So there's a lot of things that are going on right now, and you guys have seen it in some of the episodes that I have distributed already. You know, the unemployment rates are high. We've talked about the yes or no vote in Virginia and how politics is kind of off the rails right now. You know, there's several wars that are going on in the world. People are gravitating, it seems, away from God instead of towards Him. There's a lot of hatred out here. There's a lot of finger pointing and a lot of people that are just having arguments left and right. We need to figure out somehow how we can band together again. I went on AI today and I just asked, I said, according to you, when was it a good time in America? What years was it really great here? And that has nothing to do with politics. I was just curious to find out when we all felt united and everybody just felt great collectively. And AI said that it was the late 90s. And that was the one time when everyone felt a certain level of happiness. Of course, everyone's not happy, but the majority. And that was a time when we had a thriving economy. You know, this is pre 9/11, right? So everyone's united. We felt super safe. Um, I, I can also say that musically, the music in the late 90s was incredible, top to bottom. I know we felt like we could find jobs. You know, in the late 90s, I was out of school and I was working. I didn't have any problem finding work. I was able to bounce around, you know, and I was upwardly mobile. I felt like the sky was the limit. Career advancement was there. Educational opportunities were there. Um, that was a time where, you know, I found my future wife. We connected. So we were looking forward to starting our life together. It was just a tremendous time. And I think when I think about it now and I look at my kids and I look at the next generation, I feel sorry for them because there's just no connection. There's no connection. Everything's quick. Everybody has their head in their phones. No one's reaching out to each other. Nobody's picking up the phone and calling someone. No one's trying to really hang out and bond. It's just like everything is quick. You know, the TikTok generation, right? Everything is fed to you in 15-second increments. Have you heard this song? Yeah, I've heard some of it on TikTok, but you haven't heard the song. You didn't feel the song. It didn't absorb your soul. Everybody's just looking forward to a milestone. I remember talking to teachers when I was in school, and the good ones, they seemed to love what they were doing. They loved it. You could tell because they were passionate about how they delivered everything to us. And they would keep it real. If you asked them, hey, I'm thinking about this for my future. How should we move forward? What should we do? What should I do? What should I look into? What does college look like? What does, just whatever the case was. And these kids nowadays don't have that. These teachers are trying to push them through. Now, not everyone. There are some great teachers out there. Don't I don't want the teachers union to come after me and say, "What are you talking about?" But I have seen instances where sometimes the teachers aren't really trying to connect, and maybe it's the combination. Kids don't want to connect with them, and sooner or later, you get tired of trying. So everybody's on their Chromebook, and the teachers teach from, digital activities. And hey, go in your Chromebook and read the next 5 chapters. I'm counting down to retirement. We need to get to a place where people care again. When my daughters were younger, I coached basketball. And my only goal when I coached, and I've spoken about this a lot in the past. My only goal was I want all the girls that come to our team this year to come back next year and say, I want to play basketball again. That's it. Because if they come back and want to play again, then I know that I did a great job as their coach. Whether or not we win a championship, which we actually did win one, but whether or not we win a championship is really beside the point. I want to make sure that you love your experience. You are donating your time to come out here and play for, 2 to 3 months or however long the season is. I want to make sure it's an enjoyable experience. You enjoy yourself. You want to grow. You want to learn. You want to have fun. I've spoken about this as well. I had a young lady come to my team and she told me last year my coach got upset if I took a shot. In the first scrimmage game, I told her, I want you to go out there and score as much as you can. She ended up scoring 6 points, and she was as happy as she had ever been. And that was just a scrimmage game. And I told her to forget everything that your old coach told you. In fact, I'm going to get upset if you don't shoot because I wanted to turn her around 180 because I saw the joy in her eyes when she saw the ball go through the hoop. And when she missed, there was no kind of conflict or no consequence. I'm not taking you out of the game because you took a shot. I want you to enjoy yourself and I want you to see what you're capable of. That's also how I managed. When I manage, I am a people manager. I want you to have fun. I want you to grow. I want you to learn, but I also want you to bust through walls for me. So, how am I going to make you do that? I'm not. But I'm going to create an environment that is going to make you want to do that. When you have somebody that's supporting you 1,000%, that's making sure that they are putting you on a career trajectory that is going to lead to whatever your desire is for your career, that's where you want to be. And that's the type of environment that I cultivate when I am leading my teams. Are we going to get things done? Absolutely. Are we going to have fun when we're doing it? Absolutely. Are you going to want to stay on that team and grow and continue moving forward and bust through walls for your manager? Absolutely. Treat people like adults and they will act like adults. This was my freestyle episode. I just had some random things on my head, and I wanted to discuss them today. NBA playoffs are going on right now. Jason Tatum is a member of the Boston Celtics. Last year, he ruptured his Achilles tendon in the playoffs against the New York Knicks. He came back this year, I want to say it was 9 months after surgery, which is quite impressive. But what was more impressive is when he came back, he played at the exact same level he was at last year. It was mind boggling what he was able to do. Because typically, when athletes come back from major injuries, it takes them that first season to kind of get their feet under them. And then the next season, the second season, they get back to whatever level they're going to be able to get back to. But he hit it almost immediately. He was prepared from day one to do that. He set his mind on, I want to get back as quickly as possible, and I'm going to do everything in my power to be able to do that. So when you trust God, you trust your work, you trust your doctors, you put in the work, things can happen for you. Now, unfortunately, he got injured towards the end of the playoff series, and he had to sit out in Game 7 yesterday, which is a little controversial. If you read the news, people are like, I don't know. That's funny how that injury just popped up kind of late in the game. But you got to take precautions when you're coming back. So he came back, but he wasn't able to finish. Sometimes in life, our plans don't go the way that we want them to go, but we still can learn something in the process. Jason was able to learn that he can trust his body and he can push forward, but there's just certain things that you can't control. And you have to be okay with that. And that's what I try to preach quite a bit. Control what it is that you control. You can control your mindset. You can't control how quickly you recover from surgery, but what you can control is how hard you work once you get the green light from your surgeon. You can control the diet that you're on, the food, your intake. You're going to sit around and eat French fries and potato chips, or you're going to sit around and eat the food that's going to help accelerate your recovery and also keep your weight where it needs to be so you can perform at a certain level. What choices are you making today? I've been in a challenge for quite a while. So there's several things I can do, and there's several things that I can't do. I can sit here and cry and fuss and say, woe is me, and blame the world. Been through that phase. That didn't change anything. Or you can turn the corner. Okay, if I'm not finding work yet, what can I do? I can minimize my spending down to zero for anything that's unnecessary. Goodbye, Starbucks. Goodbye, eating out. I can take pressure off of my wife who's trying to hold it down in the interim. Let me cook all the dinners. Let me do all the shopping. Let me make sure the house is clean. Let me do the things that'll take pressure off so you don't even have to think about that while I'm in this season. Because she's feeling the pressure too. You control what you control. Focus on being better each and every moment. Going back to what I said at first about how the 90s was a special time. Maybe it was the age we were, right? We were younger. I don't know. Or maybe it was real. Old commercial back in the day. Is it real? Or is it Memorex? You old heads will get that one. Why don't we tap into what it used to be like? People held doors for the next person. Where people let people in traffic. Where you actually cared about your neighbor. Where you actually cared about how somebody's day was. Where you actually picked up the phone and called somebody. Where you went by and visited someone. Where you had time for people. Where we had family reunions. Where we actually got together on the weekends. Where we actually left the house to go see a movie. We actually went on dates. Went for a walk in the park. We did things that were organic. We lived life. We didn't worry as much. Because quite honestly, worry doesn't change a thing. Except for the level of stress you have while that thing is still going to go on. So you've increased your level of stress to deal with something that you weren't going to be able to change by worrying about in the first place. Or worrying about it in the first place. Choose happiness. Whatever that looks like to you, choose it. Figure it out. As always, this is Ain't Nobody Squeaky Clean. And today's little freestyle episode, I hope you got something out of it. Just a brain dump. But a lot of things I was thinking about. But I appreciate you for listening if you made it to the end. And I hope you have a blessed day and a blessed week. Until next time, take care.